In this video, I'm going to be sharing 4 main measures to wealth by age group, as well as some other related stats that really surprised me looking into them. But before we get into it, our financial journeys are all unique. So although we all know measuring ourselves in this way is unlikely to make everyone out there feel great, if making money and being wealthy is important to you as it is to me, the temptation to see how you're doing against the average in your age group is pretty hard to resist. The first wealth measure by age group is average savings by age. This table shows the average savings by age group. Now, looking at this can be quite confusing. So these are those same numbers on that graph in bullet points. As we'd all expect, generally speaking, the older people get, the more they tend to have saved. But interestingly, if we start with the 25 to 34-year-olds with an average saving pot of 500 to 5 grand, what this table doesn't show is that 38% of those people are in debt, with 23% having debt of £5,000 or more, which is most likely going to be things like student loans. And the more shocking thing is 25% of those under 54 either have no savings or are in debt. So average savings you see from 25 to 54 years of age is actually only spread across 75% of people. To be in that top 25% of your age group, you need to have these amounts by age group saved. And to be in the top 10%, you'll need to have these amounts by age group saved. I honestly felt like these figures would actually be higher than they are. And interestingly, the ONS asked people to declare how long they'd be able to make ends meet if them or their partner, if they had one, lost their source of income, and these were the results. So although you might look at these average saving figures and the pie chart I just showed you and feel great about your situation, in reality we all know that you can have £1,000 saved but have millions stacked in investments. So average savings really only offers a little bit of insight. The second wealth measure we're looking at is pension contributions by age. What this table specifically measures is the percentage people invest as a percentage of their income, from those that invest 0 to those that invest 7% or higher. Interestingly, there aren't actually massive differences by age group when you look closely, even though putting more in your pension early on will actually have the biggest effect to your pension's wealth by the time you draw it. So over 50% of employees across all age groups contribute between 3 and 5%. And if you contribute 7% or higher to your pension, that will put you in at least the top 14% of your age group. But in reality, the stats we're most interested in is the third wealth measure, average net worth by age. This table basically measures the wealth by household by totaling up all the investments in things like property, financial investments, physical wealth. So things you might own like cars, watches, jewelry, as well as a pension if you have one. And it then deducts the total debt by household to get to a final figure. So because it's based by household, if you're married or living with a partner, it's combining everyone's wealth in the household, which is also why those aged under 25 aren't included in this table, because a big portion of those people will live with their parents, and so their parents would actually most likely be contributing a big portion of the household wealth, if that makes sense. But anyway, these are bullet point figures broken down into an average by age group. So as you'd expect, in general, the older someone is, the more wealth they've accumulated, the more wealthy their household is. At least I hope you're looking at this thinking these figures are actually quite low, because I want people to be watching my channel that are ambitious about building real wealth. Even to be in the top 10% for your age group, for those aged 24 to 44, you'd have to have over 500,000 in net worth, and those aged over 45 would have to have over £1 million in net worth. So if you're already above those figures, you're already in the top 10%. If you're not, don't worry about it. Take action and keep learning the skill sets that will help you build real wealth over time. The final wealth metric I think is important to consider is household wealth broken down by wealth type. Now, this pie chart isn't broken down by age, but it shows the average wealth by household split by asset type. So you can see that on average, only 9% is held in physical wealth. The majority is held within other categories. So really the conclusion is, I think most people will be surprised with how low these figures are. And so I share these figures not to encourage you to be the average or even be in the top 10%. Really, if you're watching this, your aspiration should be to far exceed that. If that is something that interests you, invest in your mindset and knowledge, and I'll see you in the next video.